Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Teachers Podcast. With me today is one of my dear friends, Kari. Kari is an emergency room nurse, a spiritual seeker, master hula hooper, and a music enthusiast. Kari, it's such an honor to have you on. Thanks for joining today.
I'm very honored to be here. This is my first podcast, actually.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm super stoked to have you. And some of the things we may touch upon depending on time and how things flow. Definitely going to start with Carrie's awakening journey. We're going to talk about the medical field and the things people don't know about it. And then we may touch on some extraterrestrial encounters. So that'll be kind of the flow with it. So, Carrie, if you don't mind, I'd love to hear how everything started for you in your awakening journey.
Right. Well, I gotta give a lot of credit to my brother. He's 5 years older than me, and he was, I don't know how he was getting this information, if he was watching documentaries or what, but he was always like showing me like sacred knowledge stuff, like very interesting off the wall stuff you never hear about spirituality. At least as a kid, I never like heard of any of that stuff. My parents weren't into it. Um, and even just like psychedelics and stuff, like he introduced me to those at a like 16.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a powerful age to be introduced to that for sure.
it was. Yeah, and it was one of the stronger ones. But it's that, and then around the same time, I me and my friends kind of found out about lightning in a bottle. It used to be like in the canyon, just like 20 minutes up the road, and we were sneaking in at that age. And
Hmm.
we lightning in a bottle has all these, talks and workshops, spiritual, um, art, music, you name it. And so that introduced me to a lot of stuff because I would go to that every year since then. And then, of course, it's like Gaia came out, like the Netflix for, health and spirituality and
Hmm.
esoteric stuff. And I think just a lot of credit goes to that. And then, I just was really interested in, afterlife and connection with God. So I was reading a lot of books. That really helped me.
What were some of the books that really stood out for you, that
Oh,
really impacted you?
definitely the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra.
Hmm.
Um,
That's a really good
it,
one.
it's a simple book, but it's so good. It's like
Hmm.
life changing. The
Hmm.
Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Hmm.
Those are a couple good ones. Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, those were like there's simple concepts, but it's so life changing.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that Lightning in a Bottle was around for that long, and I've only gone to one, I think, in 2018, and it was huge. There was like
Yeah,
40,000 people there, and sounds
it's
like you
changed.
were one of the OGs.
I like to think of it as that. I've seen it change a lot, and in a lot of ways, like it made me sad the way it had changed. It got more commercialized. It got more like frat bro vibes and like about influencers and stuff because they
Hmm.
have like a stage at Coachella too. So it attracted like just kind of a different crowd than we were used to. We were like used to just like, you know, wooks and, and like hippies and people who just were barefoot and didn't have a phone on them. And it's just a little different now, but you kind of gotta accept the change. And also, I feel like I'm like a veteran now, and I'm like, we need to like shepherd these young children into
Right.
style. Like, as much as we like don't want them killing the vibe, like they need to kind of be like taken under everyone's wing,
Yeah,
like
well,
be
it's
here.
it's an
Unfortunately,
amazing, yeah, it's an amazing, there's so much magic in it, even to this
yeah,
day, where there's these amazing spiritual teachers that come from around the world. I remember meeting this ayahuasquera there from Peru, and she really impacted me. Uh, I just want to like give a quick little story about it, if that's okay.
of
Yeah,
course.
she had a talk about the planet and how, we have to really help the planet. And she mentioned that she would work with a little bit of ayahuasca every day, like microdosing basically. And she was very committed to serving and working with the medicine. And I remember she was really upset with what she saw at the festival. She was like, I just see all these dope, like people on drugs and alcohol, and they're just stumbling around. They're bumping into me. She's like, where are the elders? Where are
Yeah.
the people that are supposed to like be the way showers,
Yeah.
the next, showing these younger generations, right? And I came up to her after the talk, and I looked into her eyes and I said, for me, I came here. I don't drink. I didn't do any drugs. I don't do anything here. I just came for people like you to connect and to meet these amazing people.
Yeah.
And I remember we had this deep connection, and I was telling her how I found Reiki and I found Kundalini yoga and all these steps. And she looked at me, and she put her hand on my heart, and she just looks in my eyes and she goes, "You are the elder." And
You
I just started crying. Like, it
are.
was so impactful for me in that moment. I was like, wow. That to be received from someone like that in that moment, right? Where I hadn't met that many people that were so committed to, well, their betterment and wellness and to medicine, and when she did that, it was just so impactful for me. And so there are these still very possible to have these beautiful moments, even at the
Yeah.
wildest festivals, and
Yeah.
so I know you're still involved with Lightning in a Bottle, right? You help with the medical team.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually the medical team has changed a lot this year. It's a totally different company and I was able to connect with them. So I will be working at least one shift. Um, I don't really know much else, but I do know it's going to be a lot more professionally done. And I think, yeah, like before we wouldn't be doing any IVs, we would send almost everybody out who really needed real medical attention, and we can actually do a lot more on site, which is just good.
That's
And
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
because I'm sure a lot of people need IVs.
But I do want to say back to your story really quick. Like
Hmm.
it is like one of the to me like the highest compliments to like be seen and acknowledged by somebody who like you barely know, have barely interacted with, and they just like know you're a good person and you're good vibes, and they just fucking recognize you, and
Yeah.
that's the best.
I
So happy
know, I
for you.
know. Yeah, it's such there. I haven't had a lot of those moments, but that one stands out for sure.
Oh, I love that
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for letting me share. And
Oh, of
so
course.
what happened after the lightning in a bottle, and where did things evolve from there?
So I kind of had trouble feeling like I could find a community in Orange County. It just like didn't really feel right. And like I think a lot of us ended up in Encinitas with the same feeling. Like you can just like it's like a vortex there, probably because of Paramahansa Yogananda, all his work with the temple there. I just like something about the meditation garden. I was just like, this is free and this is like where I want to live. Like I want to come here every day. This like I don't even like meditate that much anymore, but like just to be there and you can pray or just have some presence. I like almost always like will open my eyes from a prayer and see dolphins, and I'm just like, this place is magic.
It's pure magic for sure.
um, yeah, just something about that, and you can tell it's a conscious community, just like with some of the shops and
Hmm.
definitely like the people, as you know.
Hmm.
But I just felt like more at home here and got to make some more connections here. And then um, kind of was introduced to an ayahuasca medicine community as well. So I tried to kind of dive deeper in that way because I felt like I wanted to, have these deep profound experiences, and even just without the medicine, the people and the music itself was, and just this, integration circle afterwards is like, regardless of even my own experience, like I would go just for that. Like it's so amazing to hear other people's reflections, and the music touches me like so deeply. I miss it. I wish it wasn't so expensive.
For sure. Yeah, and for those that don't know, most, I mean, most the most traditional way is to have live music where people are playing instruments and singing Icaros and things like that. Was that how it was for your experience?
Yeah, yeah, it was music the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. How many
yeah.
musicians were there?
Um, I mean, at a time there would be like two playing, but they would invite like anybody, like at a certain point, like if anyone played an instrument and wanted to, play, like they would, offer that as an option as long as it was, like a compatible song with the environment. And like there were so many amazing, like other dimensional sounding instruments. I don't even,
Wow. Yeah.
but yeah, it's super cool.
So, can you elaborate, like, would you be open to sharing some of the insights or experiences that you had on those journeys?
Yeah. So the first time I ever did it, I actually was like very heartbroken from a relationship that kind of just like fell apart suddenly. And so I felt like it was my fault. So I needed to kind of go to the ceremony. I had been wanting to forever, and I was just like finally able to make a connection. So I felt like it was the right time. And it was my first time was so interesting. The first day I ever did it, I barely felt anything. And I felt so rejected. And
Oh
that
wow.
was honestly like a lot of the time, like I've tried so hard to like not attach myself to hearing what other people's experiences were and like wanting that or expecting that for myself, because like some of my friends had very visual like wild story, and it was like beautiful and I was so happy for them, but I couldn't help but feel like kind of rejected from the medicine by not like having like such a deep, like crazy visual sense sensational experience like that, right? But
Hmm.
i I kind of, is interesting. I got to a place like the next night where I was like, oh my God, I'm like looking for this like experience, and I feel like I've been here before. Like I recognize this space that I'm at, and
Mm.
it's always there. And it's so wild because it's like I was like, what was I so worried about? But also, yeah, I had so many like I guess like downloads just coming in. I had to keep like sitting up and like turning my light on and writing things down. I couldn't stop. And then you look at it the next day and it's like barely legible because there's
Right, right.
so I had like a lot of insights, but I also would have like the nada type experiences, which like I kind of looked into it. Like some cultures say there's like four types, and like a nada can be one of them. And they say like it's actually to protect you from some really deep, painful healing, and the medicine is still working. And, you just got to trust it that, it's doing what's right for you. And sometimes, like, I also kind of got the feeling that I was just like there for like, I had so many reasons I wanted to be on the medicine, but I needed to not focus on like making myself better for another person.
Hmm.
Um, because it's like you're so much, even if it's like that's the main person in your life, like you're so much more than just like one relationship and how they think of you.
For sure.
So that was a good insight for me. And then I also had like my hands like just got so hot, and your body temperature is kind of all over the place in those ceremonies. But um one of the guides was telling me she thinks it was a Reiki activation. So I hope I'm like, I've looked into that a little bit, but I hope I'm, using that in, emergency medicine to some degree.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Being a Reiki master, I can confirm that's most likely what you felt because when I do some of these deeper medicines like combo or anything that takes me deeper, I will feel that tingling in my hands and then like I just feel like from Dragon Ball Z when he's just like and he's just holding this ball of energy and just like just gushing out of my hands, you know? And so, yeah, it's most likely what happened is those because you have chakras in your palms too, and those probably opened up even more. And now from here, if you wanted to get attunements from whatever Reiki master you felt called, it would open that more and more and more.
Ah.
Yeah, they,
Yeah,
s-
one of the other there was a Reiki master there and he said he like attuned or activated me. But again, I'm not like, calling myself trained or anything, but at least like there's a channel open to some
For
degree.
sure. For sure. And on that topic, I think everybody has Reiki flowing through them.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of the amount, right? So
yeah,
it's kind of like a faucet. So everybody's got a little drip going, and then as you attune first attunement, the faucet opens a little more, level two a little more, and then level three, you're just full throttle. You
yeah,
can activate the whole full throttle Reiki. So yeah, that's really amazing. That's really amazing that that happened. So that was all in the first experience.
yeah. And I did it a total of 8 nights. Not all at once, but I did like several ceremonies. But I love it, but I just feel like yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily need it at the same time. I feel like maybe there's other ways to work on myself, but I miss it. I would totally go every once in a while. I don't know, hasn't
Right on.
come
So
up
those
yet.
did you have deeper experiences and the visuals later on in the journeys?
No, that like I would have like a little bit, but not like to the, effect that other people had. And like that was like a long term, like tough one for me. I was like, am I like being rejected? Am I just like not letting go enough? Like I had nights where I would like set such specific intentions and try to be so present. And then I would have other nights where I would just try to like totally surrender and let go. And no matter what, I was just like, I don't know what's going on, if there's a block or what. Um, you know, so
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. That's super interesting, and I think it's important for people to hear that because I know a lot of people in the ayahuasca communities around Mexico and different countries, and there it becomes an addiction for some people, you know, just like anything else. They want to
yeah,
go into that space. They want to kind of have the experience of these visions and like almost like video game type
yeah,
experiences, and then the integration aspect isn't present, and then they're just kind of in a loop in a cycle again.
yeah,
And it's interesting because a lot of the insights that you shared are really deep insights and a lot of uh, growth from that, you know, those rejection aspects, those aspects of the relationship with the medicine, like all that is can be looked at from a higher perspective, you know, and it's so that just that alone is huge medicine, you know.
yeah, totally. And yeah, I still have all my notes. Like I copied it from my journal to my phone and I reflect on that. Like you said, essentially, like you can do the medicine, but you have to do the work. Like a lot of people don't integrate it, and it's a continual process. Just because you have it down one day, you got to do it every day and keep surrendering and keep, trying to live the medicine, I guess, life is a ceremony.
Yeah, yeah.
But I I think too, like, oh, I lost my train of thought.
Maybe something
You
along the
said
lines.
something that like sparked an idea and then I lost it.
Was it around the insights that you had from these experiences with the medicine and maybe something like along those lines?
Probably.
Maybe it'll come back. It's okay.
Yeah.
If it's meant to, it'll come back.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I think it's a very personal medicine. It's very different for every individual. Every person I've talked to that's done ayahuasca has com totally different stories and experiences. And uh, for me, it was like my body. needed to realign, like my
Yeah.
physical body, like my spine, and everything needed to be in place. So when it hit me instantly. The
Wow.
both nights I did it, and way like I was the first one to purge both nights. I was the first one to like get into that space, and but like the body aspect is really important, I think, because the body has to be open and the chakras aligned and everything flowing properly for that crown
True.
chakra to open up and everything
Yeah.
to
Yeah, and I
to
think too,
happen.
like it might have been protecting me. The idea came back. I think it might have been protecting me too, maybe like I had, energetic like vulnerabilities and like someone else or something else could have like negatively come into me. And there's that. There's also like I felt too, like I felt really strongly that I just wanted to like help other people heal while I was there. Like multiple ceremonies, there were women there who like had been raped or were just like one of them like had to have an abortion and she felt horrible about it and so she was going through that and processing it. And like crazy side story, like I wasn't on my period or anywhere near my period and I like passed some like a blood clot that night, like the same night.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was so weird. um so freaking strange. And yeah, I think too, like I had sort of been struggling with some gut issues, so I felt like it was helping me repair that. It was like reflecting in my skin and other stuff, and I just felt like even though I wasn't having like a psychedelic experience as much as other people were, like it was still working in other ways. But yeah, I was just like, screw it. If it's not doing anything to me necessarily that I'm like super strongly aware of, like I want to help these other people like, get through it. Like just felt like so strongly like I just wanted to like be like their little spiritual warrior.
I love it. I love that. I mean, it sounds like you naturally stepped into that guardianship role.
Yeah, I mean, it was so sad. Like you hear everybody throwing up and you hear them wailing but it's like a beautiful sad experience at the same time. Like it makes me cry, but I'm happy.
Yeah. Well,
But
thank
yeah,
you. Thank you for
wild feeling and hearing those emotions like from other people. And you're just like, shoot, I've been there.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Carrie, and for your vulnerability. It's really beautiful. And
I'm cry baby.
no, it's amazing and it's so beautiful the way that you're such a strong space holder for others, being in the medical field and being in these ways, it's really important.
Thank you. I try. I'm not perfect, but
No, you're really great at it. So, I think that um, this would be a good place for us to maybe transition into that, right? Like how is it for you with being in the frequency that you're at and diving into the emergency room, which is like some of the most hectic energy ever, right?
yeah,
Like how do you maintain your frequency? How do you navigate that?
it's hard. I'm still learning, a lot of people, it's interesting too, the culture these days is like they come in for emergencies that like it's not an emergency and it's hard to like kind of communicate that with people for one thing. Like your emergency is not as emergent as this person's and like you need to wait and I need to be like tough love to you. Or like sometimes like people are in legitimate pain and suffering and we can do the tests on them and it doesn't show up on anything and it doesn't mean that you're not experiencing it, but it's like we can't legally do anything about that at that point. Like and so like it's just that's so frustrating for me to like discharge somebody and be like, I'm sorry you spent like 5 hours here and we didn't see anything on our end. Like there's other ways to follow up with this, but like we didn't see anything. And that's like relieving and yet also just like disvalidating to
Hmm.
people, which it sucks too, because I don't know what they're feeling or experiencing. And you never know when somebody's like drug seeking. But, anyways, about like, you know, maintaining my energy, it's so hard. I feel like it brings you down for sure. Um, not only like just the frustrations of it and feeling like so much pressure and rush at times, but also like the sad stuff that you see, other people, witnessing their family members like death. That's like the hardest one, like especially like a child. Like no parent ever expects to like go through that. And so those are so hard. And luckily like we do processes like a debrief and like we have a really great support system in our emergency room, luckily.
That's
But
really
even
important.
yeah, it's so good. We have like probably I don't know, from what I've heard, I haven't worked in the other emergency room, but like our other staff, they're just like in multiple facets of it. Like this is the best ED that they've ever worked in. So I'm
Wow.
super grateful for that. But yeah, I think I try to like I need to get better at like making it a habit, but I would come home and like say like an energetic like cleansing prayer and just like literally try to just anything negative that may have latched onto me, like release it, maybe do like some hape to try to just like cleanse everything out as much as I can. And I need to make that more of a ritual again. It's kind of I've been changing shift times. I went from night shift to day shift and I've been all over the place, but
Well, what you said right there has been my main tool is Hape
hape, yeah.
because I have been working with kids in physical therapy and it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
But
because a lot of the kids are nonverbal, they're autistic or Down syndrome, and all these different diagnoses, and they're not able to express the way that we are, right?
yeah,
And they have temper tantrums, and they don't know how to manage their emotions yet, and there's just like these big explosions of energy happening throughout the day,
that's hard.
and being an empath, right? Like I take on some of that, and then you have the staff, right, that are going through their own processes and have their own stuff that they're
Yeah,
working through, and they're stressed, and they're coming in and trying to do their best, right?
yeah,
And so Hoppe has been such a powerful tool for me because it just like it's for those that don't know, it's a tobacco snuff from the Amazon, from different tribes in the Amazon that blend tobacco with grown in the Amazon primarily and blended with different other herbs. And it's non-psychedelic. It's just a very grounding tobacco snuff that you blow into your nose. And it it's kind of intense when you first do it. It like feels like that when you get like salt water up your nose, it kind of feels like
yeah.
that, you know?
Oh,
And but then within 30 seconds, 10 to 30 seconds, that subsides, and then I like to tap my body, to move the energy up and
mhm.
out. And a lot of times the purge is different for me. I'll sometimes I'll sweat, sometimes I'll cry, sometimes I'll burp, or sometimes I'll energetically like purge where energy comes out but no food comes out.
Yeah.
So there's all these different ways that can be cleared with that, and I love that you work with that, and I love that you were doing that affirmation and prayer because I think that's very powerful, you know. And also you live by the ocean, so you probably go in the ocean and cleanse a lot too, right?
Yeah, even just like the saltier they say is like really good for the respiratory system, like the ions. Like even if you can't swim, just like being by the ocean, like
Hmm.
breathing it was really good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And just the frequency of the waves and the noise and by that much water. I just feel like with our bodies being like 70 or 80% water, like there's some kind of connection draw that I have to water, especially. And I'm just like, maybe that's why they say like the moon affects us because it affects the tides in the ocean. And if we're that much made of water, it's probably not that different.
For sure. For sure. I'm fully on board with that. I mean, I don't have any doubt, that the
Yeah.
moon is impacting everyone, men, women, children, it doesn't matter. I noticed when I was working with Alzheimer's patients that the full moons would be the wildest day. They would be totally, totally wild, just like screaming at each other and cursing and like all these shadows coming up for people on the full moon that it seems like from a higher perspective, like when somebody has Alzheimer's, they're almost like not that much in their body
Yeah.
and they're clearing out these um these old programs are just playing out kind of on autopilot, you know?
It's interesting, like what part of their brain comes from that. And it's weird how like some people like turn into like a nasty, you're either like the happy confused or like very nasty and defensive and scared of everything. And it's like some people, it's like a full 180 and it's like they were never like that. And now they're like not who they were before. And it's so sad and it's weird where that comes from.
It is, and it just it's just a reminder of how doing the work now throughout your life can really impact that, you know? And my grandma had a little bit of dementia towards the end, and but she was like the most calm, like she had one book that she would just read every day, and she would sit by the fish tank and just be so content with that, you know? And it was like like an enlightenment almost, you know? She was just like fully just present in the now, like nothing really impacted her in any negative or, you know, it was just so it was really beautiful to see her like that because she was such a stress ball before all that, you know?
Wow, well, that's cool. Yeah, I love when, Alzheimer's doesn't have to be negative, but I haven't heard many of experience like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, she was never diagnosed, so it might have been some sort of dementia and
Yeah.
for those that don't know, lion's mane and bacopa. Lion's mane is a mushroom and bacopa is like an herb. We started giving those to her and she started getting her memory back. I started asking her about her childhood memories. She started telling stories that like my mom never even heard or my dad, and it was like
Oh gosh, how
yeah,
cool.
it was awesome. So there are definitely ways to slow it down or even cure it, you know?
Yeah,
So
I believe it. Honestly, like with all the things we're learning about mushrooms and like neurogenesis and neural pathways, like it's so cool. Like, and they say like food reflects like its benefits. Like, avocados help with a pregnant person. I mean, they help with a lot of things, I guess, but like, fungus growing, it's like a network, like just like your brain synapses and stuff. So everything's its own mirror of nature.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, I started working with recently I started taking chaga mushroom.
Oh yeah.
And that has been amazing. It's been clearing out my intestines and like it's supposedly don't quote me on this, but it's super high antioxidant, like maybe 1,000 times more than blueberries. It's amazing. So I'm I've been really loving that. It feels so good to have the powder in the morning. It's awesome. So I gotta give up to my buddy in Canada in Toronto that got me onto it. He brought me some fresh mushrooms from the woods in Canada, and like he made a tea out of it, and that was that was my first experience with it. I was like, this is the healthiest this is the healthiest I've ever gone to the bathroom. You know, it's like it was awesome. So, um, yeah, mushrooms are amazing, and kind of like looping back a little bit to the medical field. What have you experienced, or what what aspects of it do you believe? Can you share that maybe people could learn from, or some of the aspects that not a lot of people maybe have seen or experienced?
Yeah, I mean, so I worked on the floor, which is like your general like admitting location, and it's more chronic diseases, or I worked with a lot of stroke and surgical patients. Um, but I always wanted to be in the emergency room, which is where I'm at now. And One of the main draws for emergency medicine for me is that we are working on acute problems and we are essentially fixing them like ASAP, versus on the floor, you're working with chronic problems that are caused by poor nutrition, and the solution is not to cure it, but to treat you every day with a medication. And um, doctors hardly learn, even like nurses, like we hardly learn anything about nutrition, and bad nutrition is the cause of a lot of these diseases, and it's also that good nutrition is the solution. And yeah, it's hard to even get good food. Even if you think you're eating like healthy food, it could be, contaminated with all kinds of toxins and stuff. And so I really like that movement these days. Like so many people are more aware of that, and looking into, I wish they just like naturopathy was like the main source of medicine. I really wish that was the case because they are trained in Western and Eastern, and it's not like they're totally like throwing out the science, but also some of the science is like funded by people with bad intentions. And
Yeah.
just because you learn it in school, it doesn't mean, and it's always real. Like that's the crazy thing is like, yeah, we can see things and be like, okay, I learned that and I see this process and it's real, but at the same time, like the you know process for getting funded for so many things in the hospital isn't about like whether you're curing, like their guidelines for like, okay, are we like meeting our diabetes criteria. It's not about if we're having less people with diabetes, it's are we having more people on diabetic medication.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's
Yeah, because it's a business, you know?
yeah,
And the crazy part for me is that when you go to the hospital, it's one of the only businesses that don't tell you how much you have to pay ahead of time. And they can literally charge you anything they want.
yeah, that's
It's like it's just crazy. Like you can go in and be like, okay, what like okay, you have a copay, but then it's like, yeah, we don't know how much it's gonna be. Like it's a question
right.
mark, you know? And I think about all the people that have just been like wrecked from paying their medical bills and all that kind of stuff. It's just so it just seems like that part of it seems very dysfunctional to me. It just feels like a lot of egoic greed, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's so sad. It's like I don't know how these people sleep at night, like when they know that they have like life-saving medications that they're just like trying to profit off of, and they sell it for crazy amounts of money, or you know, and it's just it scares people away from the medical attention when they need it, and it just ends up with more sick people. And a lot of people, there just needs to be more education in general. Like it should be like a class in school for people, like this is when you call 911, like this is what you need to do to, like just I don't know, there needs to be a lot more education around all of it. You have people wasting, like on another side of it too, like you'll have people calling 911 because they like ran out of like a blood pressure medication, and um they just want to get more, and it's like you just wasted an ambulance. Like yeah, you
Mm,
should be charged some money. Like
mm-hmm,
that ambulance could have gone to, but like they have to respond to everybody.
mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
in certain situations I'm like, yeah, like these people like shouldn't, I don't know, it's such a weird subject and I don't know everything about it, but there just needs to be more education, I think.
Yeah. And uh the good news is that there are people like Mark Cuban coming out with more affordable medications and you can get it online. And now you can go to minute clinics at Walgreens and things like that that are more affordable for those that don't have insurance and those kind of things. So there is definitely movement forward. And I think that a lot more people are finding uh, more holistic ways to heal because people are seeing that these are just more like band-aids that are
Yeah,
being given to people and people are getting hooked on these different medications for anxiety and depression and then I know from personal experience when uh, I had like a strong phobia of flying. And I went and got some Xanax many, many years ago. And I remember I would take it and I would just be sitting there like super numbed out. And then when I would start coming off the medication, my anxiety would just like explode. I would have this like massive rush of anxiety that was way worse than if I just sat through it. And it's interesting because it's kind of like energy, right? Like it has to go somewhere. That
Yeah.
anxiety is just energy. And so it still had to come out one way
Yeah.
or another. And if it doesn't come out in that way, it would come out as dis-ease for someone or these other things, right? And so that was really interesting. And I think I did it like two times, and I was like, this isn't it. This isn't the
Yeah.
way that I want to
Yeah.
deal with this. And I found a company in San Diego that does like an herbal blend that you can, it's like a powder, and it just like really relaxes you into your parasympathetic nervous system, and just like chills you out. So I really like that because then there's no drop from it. It just like grounds you and allows for that. So I can drop in the description the name of that company and what that powder's called, but it's cool. It's beautiful to know that there are natural remedies for almost everything. And somebody like a Dr. Sebi, have you heard of him?
Dr. Sevi?
Sebi, Sebi. He's amazing. He cured AIDS. He cured herpes. He cured all these incurable viruses and diseases that were with different things. Like he had remedies to regrow hair for balding men and women. He just has so much amazing stuff out there, and because he was so adamant about these natural ways, the pharmaceutical companies didn't like that, and they were constantly coming after him. And so yeah, that guy in particular has some amazing remedies for all sorts of things. Have you explored it all with like working with the Rife machine or with frequency?
You actually, I had that on my mind because, yeah, I just kind of, with some of the things you brought up, was thinking about tumors and biopsies that I had been kind of doing my own personal research on, where, yeah, it's like even kidney stones or tumors like can be broken up with supposedly, frequencies and, you know, a lot of like even Albert Einstein said way back in the day, like the future of medicine will be frequencies. Um, and, and a lot of these people, it's crazy how ahead of their time they were.
Hmm.
Like it's like, how did you even know this is where it's going? And then the solution to that once it gets really bad, like it's just crazy. But yeah, even like I don't know. I again, it's all speculation because I haven't like seen it with my own eyes, but like tumors and getting a biopsy, like a tumor can be like a protective mechanism of gathering all the, bad stuff in cells, and then a biopsy just like rips that open and it explodes everywhere. And it's like if you're already going in to get it looked at, might as well just get the whole thing cut out. Like why would you just like poke a hole in it?
Right, right.
So
Well,
yeah.
yeah, that's really interesting. It makes me think of how somebody mentioned that like tumors are actually the body creating like a protection around something that's harmful to the body.
Yeah.
And so it's actually our body's protective mechanism to stop this thing from spreading, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean, I feel like you can like I don't know, certain things where I'm just like I feel like that like your body is always trying to heal and protect itself. Like why would it just like that's got to be what it's doing in my brain. Like that makes sense to me.
mhm.
Like I
Yeah,
don't
and frequency makes so much sense, right?
yeah,
Like
That's
because there's frequencies for every emotion. There's frequencies for every like everything's a frequency, even this chair that we're sitting on, right? Like that's vibrating at a certain frequency so that it can be at a certain hardness, right? A certain form of
matter.
matter
Yeah.
that we can sit on it. If it was vibrating at a different, like I've seen videos of somebody with like a subwoofer in their car that's like really strong, and you can literally watch the glass moving in
Yeah. I
waves and the metal moving in waves. So to
feel
me,
like that is healing in itself, like loud music. Like I feel like it's just pumping my blood and buzzing everything.
well, it depends on the frequency of the music,
That's
right?
true. True. Good.
Because some of these the frequencies and some of these, like the radio is at a frequency that is not ideal.
Right? Like every mainstream song has like this negative frequency, supposedly.
Yeah, like 528 hertz is the frequency of the heart chakra of the heart. And John Lennon recorded Imagine in 528 hertz. I don't know if you knew that. And so and also there's a radio station that you can get an app at 528 hertz. And what they do is they actually take the radio station music and they play it at 528 hertz,
That's
which
really
is
cool.
really cool. Yeah. And then it's fascinating because when we listen to those frequencies, something starts to shift, something starts to heal. And my friend let me borrow her Rife machine, which is a machine that does that. It has a positive charge and a negative charge that runs these frequencies through it, and it comes with this fat booklet of literally everything you could think of.
Oh
That
wow.
getting off an addiction to drugs, getting different cancers, getting through um, Lyme disease, all these things. Like I've heard miraculous experiences of people healing from things like Lyme disease and cancers and you name it, where you're holding this frequency and there's different settings, right? There's been all these studies done and different settings for different illnesses, different diseases, and you put it on your body. It runs the frequencies through you, and then it starts to heal it, literally heal it. So it's
Thing.
it's fascinating.
That sounds like a lovely experience. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, like you could just like have a friend who has a Rife machine.
Right, right. It's not cheap. It's like a $2,000 machine. But I mean, depending on what you're going through, it may be a lifesaver for some people,
Yeah.
and it's worth it to try it because there's n- there's no negative effects from it,
Yeah.
and it's frequency. So, um, it's interesting. We talked about frequency in music and sound, right? And we talked about ayahuasca. So I'm going to tie that all together with an experience real quick that I had, which was as the during my ayahuasca ceremony, the shaman was playing a soundtrack that was very like scientific, that was playing specific sounds depending on where the medicine was going to the
Oh,
hypothalamus and the pineal and where it should have been in that moment, right? But for me, it was like instant, right? Like I shared earlier. And in that moment, like I'm on the medicine, I purge, and all of a sudden I look up and there's subtitles coming out of the subwoofer through the through the space, right? And it's showing me the subtitles of what this music was actually trying to program me with. Like an AI energy floating out of the speakers, and it was
wow.
all super negative stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started like saying, I am not in consent to this. Like I started like rebelling in that moment, right? And they took me outside because I was like, I need to leave this. Like this is not okay. And so it was just really interesting that like those spaces in particular are so vulnerable for the mind and the spirit. And I was just like, no, this is a full no.
Good.
And
Ew.
yeah, so um yeah, I think that music can be super healing, and it can also be a way to program people and to keep them subservient.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, so to loop back to the medical field, let's leave like a couple of minutes. Actually, let's transition. Let's leave a couple of minutes for some extraterrestrial experiences that you had because I find that really fascinating. Could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I feel like you and I have had like those experiences together a couple times. Like we watched that meteor shower down in Hamul, I think it was, at that
Hmm.
really cool property. I don't know. That necessarily wasn't like extraterrestrial, but I guess it was at the same time. I feel like I love watching meteor showers and like it's just every time you see one, it's even though you've seen 100, you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, that
And
was super cool. I think Kunal was there and a couple other
yeah,
friends, right?
that is like still such a dear memory to me. Like I laughed so hard that night. Like your Bigfoot story and the didgeridoo, and then and then like even again like the next time I think we hung out like at the beach. Like I didn't know what a SpaceX launch was, but I thought it was like an alien.
Yeah, yeah, for
We were just
sure.
like, "What is that?" And you're like, "I feel like this happens every time I'm with Kari."
Yeah, it's
Finds
really
them.
interesting. Yeah, like there was something that like in the because to me, the way I experience you is like you're very galactic. Like your energy is very galactic. And yeah, for whatever reason, whenever we would hang out like with friends, there was always these really far out experiences with
I love that for us.
extraterrestrials. I know it's interesting to look back on, that and I mean I've had some far out experiences that I could share another time, another podcast, but yeah, it's really interesting because have you were you there that night that they did like the
I wish. I
oh
like,
okay
yeah, some of us, we watched the CE5, documentary together, and we were all like, oh my God, we need to get this app. We need to try it all. I was not there for that night, but I
okay
wish I was.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that for the people that don't know about it. C5 stands for something, right? I'm
Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
right, right. And that's a book, right? I think. No, it's a movie.
Yeah,
It's a
there might be,
movie. It might
but
be a
Dr.
book.
Steve Greer is like kind of spearheading that
Hmm.
whole thing. But I think in the past it might have been other people. I don't know.
Yeah, so Stephen Greer is like one of the extraterrestrial experts out there, and he has this movie, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and he actually teaches you how to interact and call upon these crafts that can come. And he's had immense success with it if you look him up and some of his videos, and it's fascinating. Like he has this
Yeah.
formula of like what to do to interact and to call upon extraterrestrials, and it seems
Yeah,
like
the thing too is like his method is like totally, it's like it makes sense. These beings are probably like able to tune into like different, dimensions and abilities for us to like see them, and it like a radio station almost. And so he's saying that they travel and are spoken with through our conscious, not like our 3D world, but the 5D world.
mhm. I totally believe that because uh yeah, they can feel our frequency too and our openness to it, right?
Yeah,
Like if and intention is everything. So if we especially when there's a group intention, that just amplifies it and makes it that much more potent, you know?
totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those that yeah, so for those that want to try it out, it's a real thing. It's a real thing that people have had some
Yeah,
really
it has
powerful experiences with.
an app and like the checklist, like we all like bought the app and like the checklist has like some random stuff on it, like a super strong laser, some kind of like type of radio. And I was like, oh, I have those.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Yeah, my and then if you bring your hula hoop, the light up hula hoop
Oh,
behind
yeah.
you, that would even amplify it more. But I recently went camping with some buddies, and my friend brought a super strong laser, and he took a little bit of mushrooms, and he had some really far out experiences where he was seeing the craft, and so it. I think that something like mushrooms takes us into a different space, a different dimension, and we're able to see a lot of these things that maybe existed on Earth in the past that aren't here in our visual perspective, but they're still here. We just can't see it, right?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the psychedelics, they like our brain almost holds us back. Like they remove like a filter that's like blocking us from experiencing everything. Because like even if you think about just like other creatures that are living here, like they see like different light spectrum that we do. They see things that we are invisible to us, and it doesn't mean it's like not real just
For
because we can't
sure.
see it.
Yeah, I think they've done studies in Stonehenge, where a lot of these crop circles are being formed, right? Where I believe it's like a because the way to tell between an actual crop circle and one that's not real is that if you look at the plant, and I've been to Roswell, New Mexico to the museum, and this was one of the like takeaways from there, which they had photos of the straw and the grass that these crop circles were created on, and the plants were still alive and bent over with like a little bubble of like radiation or something that caused them to bend, but they were still living. So that's how you know that it's a real crop circle versus one that's not. They'll be all trampled and there won't be these perfect like folds in the straw. And and they've done studies where they use infrared cameras to see the
Um,
craft actually coming down and creating these images in the grass that are meant for the world to see. And that to me is fascinating because some of them, one in particular, has an actual extraterrestrial holding a disc, and on that disc is all this like braille type, like you know how in the Matrix is zeros and ones, and that can be translated into a language. So it's kind of like that, where he's holding a disc, and
oh,
on the disc there's an actual message that they've translated to humanity. And it's basically like warning humanity that there are energies that are good, other energies that aren't good, and just use your discernment because not all of them are here to help us.
yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, so true. And it's wild how many people like you think are like smart and aware, but it's like you're not like that aware as I thought. I don't know. It's a lot of just kind of mindlessness about some of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a really fascinating topic, and I still am really curious about all that, and I'm just very open to learning more and to
Yeah.
experiencing it. Some people believe that it's actually ourselves coming back as these other beings, um, and just like coming back to teach us and remind us of like,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, no, that was it. Yeah.
Well, like that's like the like one of my favorite movies, probably yours too, Interstellar. Like that's like kind of the concept behind that is like they had like the Tesseract, which was like essentially like time and space combining, and so that's like 5D, and you're able to like flip through a library and find a time in space and go to it, and then like they were trying to warn their future selves not to destroy the planet.
Right, right.
So
It's a really
yeah,
good movie. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I
and like that's such a great reminder too to just like the coincidences in life. Like I always think about that. I'm like, is this like me telling me like go that way?
Mm-hmm.
Or God?
I would say yes. Yeah. I think the universe is always speaking to us, and especially with injuries and different pains and different things like that. It's like, okay, what am I holding on to that needs to be
Yeah.
released? What is it that like and all these body part like our body is a map. It's a
Yeah.
map for us to tune in like, okay, I'm having knee pain. Where in my life am I having trouble stepping forward into something bigger, right? Potentially could be a
Yeah.
meaning for that. Lower back pain can be like resentment or financial struggles or a program like that, upper back is like the weight of like your upper shoulders and traps is like weight of the world on you. Like where can I let go and
Yeah.
delegate some of my energy and things to other people. It's awesome. I The more we tune into the body, the more we clear and connect to it, the more we can grow and expand and
Yeah, totally.
get
I
closer to
want
creator.
to like implement that more too in my like emergency medicine, but it's such a delicate thing because it's like I'm giving you advice as like a friend, not medical advice, but like maybe you should look into this or that.
Yeah, yeah, I
Some
think it's
people are just
important.
like turned off by that stuff and immediately they're just like, I'm not gonna go see acupuncture. Like they're like offended.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well, nothing came up on our scans, maybe it's something deeper.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's I'm really glad that you still do I'm like that you're doing that because even if you just plant that seed, they may
yeah,
have resistance to it, but you never know. In a month or so, they may be like, you know what? I've tried all this stuff. I remember Carrie told me that. Let's go for it. And that's all we can do is just plant
yeah,
seeds
that's true.
and and um and just keep planting them because the world needs it. So. Thank you so much, Carrie, for coming on today. It's been
So
such
good
an
to talk to you.
honor. Yeah, it's so great to drop in, and you're always welcome back on.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
And
I feel like we still have so much to talk about.
I know a lot of times after an hour, we just kind of start diving in. So yeah, there's way more we could talk about. So whenever you want, we can do another episode.
Okay,
So
yeah, it's
all
been a
right,
privilege. Would love to do this again.
okay, amazing. So until next time, talk to you soon.